So what have we been up to lately? Tommi and Andrei are currently converting all the animals to the new improved AI system. That will be the foundation for all the new AI in the Saga. Raul is rewriting a core animal control system that's gotten all overcomplicated, and Mikko is working on something else. And I've been working to get Amethyst set up for the full quest arc. So you'll be able to establish a territory and raise your pups on Amethyst. That means creating all the other seasons of the year, making dens, setting up rendezvous sites, and configuring all the quests for Amethyst. A lot of stuff. And while working on the new rock dens, I realized that I'd never really cracked the question of what kind of rocks are here in Amethyst. In our trips to Yellowstone, we've never actually gotten into the heart of the map here with the cliff bluffs and the rocky outcrops all around Amethyst Mountain. And it seems like hardly anybody has, because I can't find any photographs from the cliffs up close up there. So we've had to rely on photographs of smaller bluffs further down the valley, which vary a lot in what they look like. Sometimes they're kind of round and knobby, and sometimes they're smoother. It's kind of hard to know what you're looking at. So I decided to dig into this again, which means that, yes, this is another dev blog about geology. You know, at some point we will start having dev blogs about the Saga. I know that's what lots of people want to see. There's just nothing really visual yet to show. So for the 3 or 4 people out there who like geology dev blogs, this one's for you. So I dove in again to learn about the geology of Amethyst Mountain and Specimen Ridge. It's pretty complicated, with many different layers of geologic history, which is, I think, why I had trouble 6 years ago. There's Tophaceous sandstone, there's siltstone, there's older formations of limestone, of volcanic breccias, and even Precambrian gneiss. But the main type of rock around here is conglomerate. Now, conglomerate is basically pebbles of various sizes embedded in dried mud. Here it was formed by mudflows from 2 huge volcanoes 40 or 50 million years ago. These mudflows are called lahars, consist of a slurry, a mixture of volcanic material and rocky debris and water flowing down from the volcano. You really don't want to get caught in one. So once I got that clear in my head, I looked at the various photographs we'd taken on our trips and other photos, and they made a lot more sense. So I finally started working on a new set of textures for the rocks. All our cliff rocks and all the maps use a nifty version of the microsplat terrain shader that lets me mix 4 different textures to create a realistic variegated surface. So I tried a bunch of different rock and pebble textures to see what I could come up with. What's cool about this is you can tweak a lot of things, including the weight of each one. So you can make it more prominent or have it recede more lower in the mix, so to speak. So I could get something pretty promising. One problem was this pebble texture was all one tone of brown, whereas the pebbles in conglomerate are much more varied since they're swept up from a wide area. So I started to work on that, selecting pebbles and tinting them, but I figured this was promising enough. It was time to bring in an actual artist to take over. So I handed them off to an artist, Damian Patterson, who's creating new rocks for the Tower Fall map, and he came up with an excellent conglomerate rock texture. So I rolled that in there, tweaked some things, and these cliff rocks are looking much better, I think, much more realistic. Of course, you change one thing, and now a lot of other things don't match anymore, so first I needed a new set of boulders made of conglomerate. Remember, we do have these granite boulders strewn about the Amethyst terrain. These are glacial erratics deposited by glaciers 1 or 2 million years ago, long after the lahar mudflows laid down what became the conglomerate. So now we need 2 types of boulders from 2 very different geological events. The glacial erratics strewn about the highlands, and these new conglomerate boulders, which have eroded and broken off from the cliffs and bluffs. So I've got a couple boulder models here with about the right shape, kind of weird, a little blobby, irregular, and I can mix in the conglomerate texture, tweaking some things to get it to kind of pop out there. So you can see the pebbles in there. I also got to tweak both some sliders in here as well as the original textures to get it to match and look like it just fell off that cliff rock. So now some of these may get washed down the slopes into the creeks, and that'll affect the boulders that you see in the creeks, and so on. There's a lot of kind of ripple effects when you make one change, significant change like this to the rocks. You have to carry that through the whole game map. So now back and let's finish this new rock den. This is above the Chalcedony Creek on the eastern side of the map. I'm adding a number of these rocky outcrops, similar to the big cliffs overlooking the Lamar Valley, but around on the east above Chalcedony. And here we go. Let's check in on the pups. So that was a couple days work quickly summarized here. Be glad you didn't have the live view of me fussing and stumbling around trying to figure this out. But I'm feeling much better about the geology of our Amethyst map. And I know this is all background, literally, to the game, but we're trying to portray real places here, and it is incumbent on us, I think, to try to get it right, even if it takes us a few tries over a number of years. But for those who like this kind of thing, I hope this was interesting, and we will have more cool stuff coming up in upcoming devlogs, so stay tuned.